Hello, I'm Reverend Koyo Kubose, and welcome to Sensei Says. Today I want to talk about the importance of listening to the Dharma. In Japanese, this is called manpo, listening to the Dharma. And it's very important, and so sometimes manpo is translated as deep listening. Because we hear things all the time, but do we really listen? And the reason it's hard to really listen, which is the most basic of Buddhist practices, and it's a lifelong process. We have to continually be reminded of deep listening. And as I said, it's hard because we usually only see things from our own self-centered point of view. And although this is natural to have oneself as the frame of reference, this is why it's a lifelong process of practice in deep listening, to really understand the reality and truth of the Dharma, things as they are. Now, to illustrate this, I want to take an everyday example and tell you this story about an elderly couple. Now, as you know, as we get older, get hard of hearing. So the husband was always telling the wife, you're hard of hearing, you don't listen to what I'm saying. And the wife was saying, no, it's not me, it's you that's hard of hearing. Well, one day, it was a quiet Sunday morning, and the wife was working at the kitchen counter, and the husband starts to come into the kitchen. He sees the back of his wife working at the counter, and he says to himself, hey, I'm going to do an experiment and show my wife that it's her that's hard of hearing. So he says in a medium voice, can you hear me? No answer. So he quietly moves to the center of the room, says in the same voice, can you hear me? Still no answer. So he moves right behind her and says, can you hear me? Now, the wife, who was working at the kitchen counter, now she turns and says, for the third time, yes! Well, needless to say, the moral of this story is, be careful when you blame others before looking at your own limitations. Whenever you point a finger at someone, remember that 3 fingers are pointing back at you. So let's remember the most basic of Buddhist practices is to really listen, deep listening to the reality of the Dharma, which is things as they are, not as how we want them to be. May it be so.